well, what a beatdown that was. So I did an unscripted video at the end of Game 5, and a lot of you guys really seem to enjoy that. Now I have a couple scripted videos just waiting to be published, but I was excited again about this series. I'm following this series closely between Minnesota and Denver, so I figured I'd give you guys another unscripted video. This channel will remain all about scripted content. I just want to make that clear. But if you guys are into this and like me kind of breaking downs and discussing them with you guys, then I'll start doing it more often and mixing this in every once in a while. So the final score, 115-70, a 45-point beatdown in favor of Minnesota. I gotta be honest, I'm not totally surprised. Obviously, you kind of expect the defending NBA champions to put up a little bit more of a fight than putting up just 70 points and losing by 45 points. They were down by as many as 50 at one point. But they basically looked like they were done late into the second quarter. Like the energy just wasn't there. They were lackadaisical. They looked lethargic. Minnesota played like the team that absolutely had to win this game, and Denver did not. And if I'm being honest, this kind of feels like Denver's MO. This team constantly has their backs against the wall and then comes through just when they need to. They fall behind in the series with the Lakers. Game after game, there's big deficits that they got to make up, but they make it up. And then with Minnesota, there's deficits. They got to make it up, but they make it up. They fall behind a couple games. They lost home court advantage. They lost both of their games in Denver. They make it up. And now they can really show that killer instinct. They can really step on Minnesota's throat. And they just basically don't show up in Game 6, and now they have to win Game 7. I start to worry because at a certain point, it feels like that's got to catch up to you eventually, right? Because at a certain point, you're going to bite off more than you can chew. Or is Denver really just going to hit the switch every time they need to hit the switch on their way to the NBA championship? Shaquille O'Neal talks about this a lot, and I remember in the early 2000s, that Lakers team that was led by Shaq, they knew how to hit the switch. There was times where it looks like they hardly cared. They'd lose to teams like San Antonio and Sacramento by 20-something points, but when they absolutely had to win, they'd find a way to get it done. This Nuggets team is the same way, but it's just like that all the time with them, and I am worried that eventually that's going to catch up to them. With that being said, you could tell the way the wind was blowing, and as much as this looks ugly, and as much as this is a confidence builder for Minnesota, I would not look at this game as an indication of how Game 7 is going to go. You know, in Denver, in that altitude, with that raucous atmosphere where the crowd is totally going to be behind them in a situation where they know they have to win to keep their title chances and hopes of a repeat alive, they're going to come out stronger than they did. Now, I will say, I was a little bit confused when the game started and just puzzled by an approach that Michael Malone had. So, Denver's head coach, Mike Malone, I don't know why he wasn't doubling Anthony Edwards from the jump. That is what they did in Game 5. They neutralized Ant by forcing doubles to the perimeter and forcing someone else to beat him. In the past, that's worked with other great guards like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. When those supporting cast, when they were hitting their jumpers, you forced the best player to give the ball up and make someone else beat you. That worked beautifully in Game 5. So I don't know why he gave it up. I was texting my buddy Russell, and he observed the exact same thing. At one point in the first quarter, they were doubling Karl Anthony Towns. I just don't understand that. And so I hope that Ant would see more doubles. Eventually, they started putting two defenders on him on the perimeter like they did in Game 5. But at that point, Ant had already scored like 14, 15 points in the first quarter. Momentum was now seized by Minnesota, and now the role players started hitting down their shots, and obviously fast forward, and you have a 50-point deficit. So again, that was just confusing to me, and I did not expect that from a coach of his excellence to do something like that. But again, another indication that this wasn't all that much of a surprise is Minnesota absolutely dominated the boards. They set a franchise record with over 60 rebounds, which just tells you that they're dominating the loose balls, they're dominating the hustle plays, and that's why they had so many second chance opportunities and were really able to pull away in this game. On top of the fact that the energy was lacking with Denver, they just weren't hitting their shots. I have a stat here that's just crazy. Nuggets shot a franchise playoff low 30% as a team. That was a franchise record for a game, the lowest they've ever shot, 30% from the field. And that's not like Minnesota doing it, who has a relatively short playoff history. The Nuggets have been in the playoffs many, many times throughout the years and have a long history. So that is kind of a shocking stat. Minnesota has the momentum. They've got their confidence back. Ant is leading the team. He was holding up the fingers, motioning Game 7. This is going to be an instant classic. And with this series being as unpredictable and having as many twists and turns and dramatic shifts as it's had, I have a hard time predicting who's going to win Game 7. Ultimately, I think you just got to go with the experience of the Nuggets. This is what they do. They wait until their back's against the wall and they have to show up and they have to play their best, and then they do it. And this is one of those situations. But again, they're playing with fire because this Minnesota team, they're alive again and they believe they can win this Game 7. So it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. You guys absolutely know I'm going to want to talk about it after that Game 7 goes final on Sunday. So I will be here talking about it once again. Again, let me know if you're still enjoying these unscripted videos. We do have scripted videos waiting down the pipeline. Worst case scenario, maybe I'd even just start another channel and have all my unscripted content go to that channel. I don't know. I'm open to different changes. I didn't expect you guys to like this as much as you did, at least with the initial video. So we'll see what we can do from here. But as for this one, that's all I really wanted to talk about, and I'll see you guys after Game 7. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.